Hi, I am Mary Mazur. This is Change Your Funk to Fun. Come play in the abundance. This is your invitation today. Will you come play with me? Come play with me in the abundance. Yes, yes, yes. Wow, wow, wow. So the other shows that we've had here have really helped us dive into maybe aspects that block us from living an abundant life, from being the abundance that we actually are, and being able to experience those ways where we always have more than enough, that we have an abundant amount of resources. You have an abundant amount of resources, that you can openly receive these resources and support. Yes, guidance helps, all of it. Yes, it's actually all here for you. But many of us may not be feeling that right now. Many of us may be feeling nervous, scared, uh, tense, feeling stressed, especially with the holidays coming up. Maybe some of you might have bought a little too much. Sometimes that happens too. Yeah, or you want to, but you don't feel like you have the funds, things like that. That can also stir up a lot of things too. Well, good. This is what we're going to be helping you with today, to help you discover maybe what are the limitations, what are the blocks within you that might be creating these experiences for you. A gift here is when you can actually have the courage and the willingness to be able to start exploring these things. So we're going to invite you into that today. So the first question is, would you like to come play in the abundance of life? Mm, yes, and I hope your answer is yes. I say yes. Yes, I do. I want to. I want to play. Not only just have abundance, but play in the abundance. So that's a whole nother piece we'll talk about near the end, is to let yourself play, let yourself be childlike. So before we get to that, let's just begin to talk about the abundance, or the opposite, the lack of abundance or scarcity, because we live on this beautiful earth here, in a third dimensional construct with our beautiful bodies and things physical here. That's the gift of being here on earth, is we get to experience with our five senses. So you get to touch things. You get to, feel things. You get to feel your emotions with stuff, for any of thoughts you have, or anything happening with you. And you get to taste things, smell things. Those are always fun too. And hear things. Yeah. And see things. Yes, 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 yes. And you get to have things. So how about that one too? Can we bring that in? Yes, that would be a nice one in. The things that you would like, the things that are dear to your heart, the things that can help you and even help others. So we really, with moving into the Aquarian age, we are leaving behind the age of where we were only in survival, because for thousands of years humanity has been only in survival, and we have leaped out of that. It's been 23 years now that we've been in the Aquarian age, and we're just getting started, because this is going to last about 1,000 years. And whoever wants to leap and literally say, heck yes, let's do this, you can hear, you literally can hear. Yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. And how you do that is by helping yourself, by literally, one, let yourself decide, yeah, you know what, I'm kind of done with this lack scarcity stuff. That's what I've had to do with myself. Yeah, because I was also raised in a lot of lack and scarcity, and many of you have too. And I'll share a little bit of my story, in case it might touch on some of your guys' story, right? And I get it, that because in on this earth there are people who have lived extraordinary lives, that have more than enough. They've always wanted. They've always had tons of stuff, and they always know they can have stuff, and that's awesome. And thank goodness. Thank goodness we actually have that. It's actually kind of nice to see that, because whenever you can see anything or experience anything else, then that's just letting you know that you can experience in that way too, if you so choose. Yes, you do. We get free will choice. You get to choose what you want to believe, what's your truth within yourself, and then opening up that creativity window. So we'll be talking about that in just a little bit, because that creativity window is going to be one of your best friends. Yes. And remembering again that you're worthy of it. Remember that you are a divine spiritual being here having a human experience. And many of us might not have even realized that yet. But we actually are. We're actually eternal beings. Yes, you are. You live eternally. Nothing can hurt you, harm you, or anything. Yet there's a human part of us that can kind of get scared and freaked out about that. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want to starve. I don't want to be homeless. I'm worried about failing, things like that. Even I have gone through those pieces within myself. And I want to offer this for you, that we're going to be diving into being able to touch into those parts that had experienced those things within yourself, and then receive the lessons from those, receive the gems, and help yourself in your mastery here. Okay. I was one of 12 kids. So my parents had 12 kids. I'm number 11. And with that, we survived. We literally survived with my dad's one income as a military man. He was in the military, and my mom wanted to work. She actually had a college degree, not that you have to have one, but she did, and in economics, actually. And she actually did wanna work a little bit maybe before she had kids and that kinda stuff, but back in the '50s, the way of the culture was, "No, I'm the husband, I'm the one that provides, and you're the one that's supposed to manage the home and eventually take care of kids when you have kids." So my dad had told her, "No, I'm going to be the provider." So my mom said, "Okay." So then she ended up being the economics major for our home and managed that very well. But there were times where, I know as a little girl, I grew up where we did not have very much. We had enough. We did always have enough. So I'm grateful for that. I never went to bed hungry, or thinking, "Oh no, where am I going to get my next meal?" So I know in my life experience, at least in this lifetime, I never had that experience. Maybe even some of you might have. And you still broke through that because you're here now listening to this talk. So even if you did have those extreme experiences, um, somehow you found a way. And that's the amazing part, is we can always find a way. And then we can always lift up and birth from it into a new way and create those new ways. Yes. In fact, my mom was such a great economics major that she even showed me as a little girl to only use 2 squares of the toilet paper. Wow, how about that? So I didn't know any difference. I thought that's what everybody did, right? Until I got married. When I had gotten married, I told my husband at the time, "There's 2 things I want that will make me happy." I was pretty simple, easy to please. Said, I want to have soft toilet paper and use as much as I'd like to. And I want to have soft, fresh bread because my mom and we as kids went to the day old bread store because it was able to save money. So we would they actually moved bread to day old bread stores, and then you could buy it at a cheaper amount. So our bread would be like, would be, stiff on the edges, yeah, or even sometimes even moldy, but mostly just stiff, and then, not really very soft at all. And yet we survived, and that's what I was raised in. Yeah. So I actually the gift of that is that I so love bread now. Like, in fact, my girlfriend just made me a loaf and brought some over to me, some gorgeous homemade sourdough bread, and I am just like in heaven eating it. It's so soft, it's so fresh, and it's even homemade. How about that, right? So that is actually one of the gifts and the gems. Once you can move through that scarcity consciousness, which is the lowest level of consciousness, up, you may be getting up into some suffering and pain, and then you lift up into your power, and then up into your love, that you will, in time, have an appreciation for all the experiences you went through, and realize how amazing and how strong you are, how powerful you are, that you can actually move through any of those times. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that amazing, huh? Yeah. Yeah, and we also, grew up with, like, hodgepodge stuff because that was it. We only, had to do what we had to do. So, like, people would just give us beds or give us stuff. So at least I did have a bed. My, ex, when he was one of 12 kids too. His parents, they had 12 children in a 1,000 square foot home, so teeny tiny little home, and he actually just slept on the living room floor until he was 21. How about that? But the good thing is when we got married, we were so easy to please because we're like, "Wow, we actually have a house. We actually have nice beds." Everything else actually gets to be so heightened, and it is true when you can really appreciate things, especially when you didn't have them. It's like, "Wow, we can have this much," right? But then some of us, in order to, feel like we have abundance or feel like, right, we're opening up that abundance, gateways, we can go too far. And that's, a lot of times, a lot of the, advertisements that are out now are here to help us consume, and I get it that, there are companies that do want to sell things, and that's awesome. It's just having that internal guidance system. So we also will be sharing a bit more about that. You have an internal guidance system within you. It is your spirituality, it is your true essence. You are a divine construct here, in your own unique, powerful way. And in that can let you know if you're going too far out of balance. Okay. Because some of us will then begin to hoard or then begin to, have too much stuff. Like, this is ridiculous how much stuff we have, right? Like, and you might even look at your house like, okay, how is it? Or do you have a nice balance, of the things that you can use and that you are thankful for having them and be able to, help serve yourself, have a comfortable home, a comfortable way of living, which is a beautiful, ideal way to be living? Or do you have too much? Is there like way, way, way too much? And are you holding on to stuff? And that's what we'll be talking about at the next week, about letting go of all of this scarcity and lack of, can also let you go of any kind of hoarding or any kind of over keeping things with that. And that's okay if you do have it right now, because it may be serving you in some way. It may bring you a bit of comfort to know, yeah, I have enough. I have more than enough. So, whew, if things ever got bad, I know at least I always have that. Yeah, my ex, he has a beautiful mom, sweet as ever, raising 12 children. And we used to joke that you go down to her basement and she has like a Big Lots in her basement. She does. Anytime anything was ever on sale, she bought it because she could, because it was on sale. So she got that one. The advertisement does well with that. And then she just wanted to make sure she always had enough and that she can always help others. So she's one that always wants to serve and help others, especially her children, to make sure that they have enough, and grandchildren. So if we ever, hey, we're out of this, Ma, do you have this? Whoop, she'd go right downstairs and there it is. I'm like, well, thank you very much. Sometimes that is nice too. Another philosophy is, if you would like to dance with me with this and with us with this is the gift of the playing, of come and play in the abundance. Is if you can actually shift a bit and let your imagination come in for you and help you, just imagine yourself as an already abundant divine being here. Your light is so bright. You are so full with love and joy and peace and harmony. This is where many of us are vibrating up into now, which is shifting the whole world. So thank you for helping yourself to be able to do these kind of things. It's absolutely huge. And when you can recognize and remember, and you can even just play with it now. This is the gift about playing. Oh, what if I am that abundant one? What if I really actually already am abundant? Literally, what that means is that you actually have all the answers within you. You have all the help and support within you. You have all the access of anything you ever wanted or needed or felt like you had to have, that is meant to help you. And this is a caveat here we want to say, is that this is from your heart center, not from your mind. Okay. Most of us have been governed to lead from our minds, and it was based on the scarcity mentality or the survival mentality, because the mind had to step in, of putting some order and some structure in, of, well, these are the rules, these are the laws, this is what you have to believe, this is how you have to be to survive, to live here. Okay. We were taught these our first 7 years of life. So whatever you got from your mom and dad, or siblings or loved ones and stuff, they might still be running within you. And this is what we call about the programs that run at your subconscious level of the mind. Yes, we all have these programs, because this is exactly how it does help us live. Your subconscious mind runs everything in your body. So the fact that you learned how to walk is a really huge deal, because you never have to remember how to walk again, right? Now, isn't that nice? Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Or talking. Once you learn how to talk and you learn the words, right? We were newborn babies. We did not know how to walk. We did not know how to talk. We didn't know how to feed ourselves or even go to the bathroom using the toilet. And guess what? You learned all those things. You also learned probably how to drive a car, or travel in a car, and how to do many, many, many other things. Well, your subconscious runs those. It also runs programs to protect you. So the subconscious mind will let you know, at the level of your level of belief and truth that you embody within yourself, is how much can you trust your own internal intuition. That's the big one here. That's going to open up that gateway of abundance for you, is trusting that intuition. It's actually everything. And then, how are you able to trust others? Are you able to trust your world? Are you able to trust your outside dynamics that are happening, and trust your ability to manage these, to adapt to these? So we were just talking about the subconscious mind and all that it does for you. It runs everything in your body, and it records everything. Every experience you've ever had, it's like your little recorder, your little library. And it also records your interpretation of all of these experiences. So even when you were a baby growing in your mom's belly, up into your younger years, up into the conscious time, when you're like 7 and more, you become more conscious. Yeah, you actually interpreted your life and your world, and then you wrote basically your truth here. Each of us have done that. And the gift is that 8 billion of us are here, and we all actually created our own little universes within ourselves, our own little worlds within ourselves. Yes, you did. And what's so nice is that get to go experience it in this way, and you get to change any of these. So that's the gift that I get to offer for you today, and our spirit team that's here working through me is. And then I'll be offering you a tool, a powerful tool called Psyche to help you learn a little bit more about that in case you would like to have this become a beautiful tool for you. Yes. And there are actually other tools too. Psyche is just a very fast, effective one. And I know for myself, I love fast and effective, and I hope you do too. And long lasting. So there you go. Fast, effective, and long lasting. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Yes, yes, yes. So, ask yourself, like we already asked, hey, would you like to play in the abundance? Hopefully you said yes. Yes, I would. Okay. Then ask yourself, so how much are you playing in your abundant life? How abundant is your life right now? And look at all areas of your life. And then even ask yourself this sweeter question. Because, well, yeah, we'll get back to how much is it in your life, because we can help you narrow in on the parts that are lacking in it or being blocked in that. Before we do that, I actually want to ask you this question and settle in. Yeah, and ask you, wow, if I actually did live in a completely abundant way, abundant life, and I had abundance in my life, in all areas of my life, yeah, what would that look like? What would your life look like? Hmm, Ask yourself this. If you're home, you can even jot it down, start taking notes if you want to do that, or let yourself visualize it and see it and capture it. Or when we're done with the talk, or you can pause this talk if it's a recording and then go write that down. That's a good idea. Yeah. So ask yourself, if I were living amazingly abundantly in every area of my life, what would my life look like? What would I have? What would I be experiencing? What would I be so grateful for having and knowing that that's all like always happening or coming to you, right? Oh, very nice. Well, when I asked myself that question this morning, what came through for me is that my abundant world is one where I get to be free. I am free to experience anything I choose, as long as I do no harm and not going to be harming or hurting anybody here. So this is all like for goodness, for myself and all. And I am free. I am free to go experience and to deeply connect. So for me, the two important pieces is to experience things here, because we are in a physical world. I love to experience. I love to feel things. I love to touch things. I touch like in Mother Nature, I'm touching things all the time. I touch people all the time. I love to touch. I love to touch. I love to hear things. I love hearing the birds sing. I love hearing people talk. Uh, I delight in it. I love to see things. I love seeing beautiful things, beautiful flowers, even these paintings in the back behind us here, right? I love trees. Find the things that you love. I love to feel and be free to experience this. And then not only do I love that, because I do live a quite abundant world, and it may be different than what the world says is abundant. You get to define your own abundance and what that means for you. That's the first one. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because you are your own divine being here, and you have a right to do that. What is your abundance? And if you could, and what parts are already really good for you, because you probably already have some really good points already. You do. You may not be able to see some of these now, and that's going to be another help with the gift of Psyche can help you start to begin to experiencing the abundance around you. That's what it did for me, and that's what it does for the people that I serve in helping them with the gift of Psyche. Yes, because what happens is at the subconscious level, especially the first 7 years, is we, in our free will choice, chose to be born in the 20th century and chose for us to experience a lack of that or a contrast of living abundantly. 20th century was a rough time. I know in America, it was 1930 was when the Depression happened. So many, many people were in a really, really hard time with lack and scarcity. And then even during the times of war, there was many times, or even after the wars, that people had a lot to struggle with, a lot of hardship, a lot of struggle. And then from that, our grandparents or parents were raised in that. And then we were born, right? So we're the generation that like, woohoo, okay, we're the aftermath of that. So how is that going for us, right? Many of us still embodied a lot of those lack scarcity principles. And it's time. We're in the Aquarian age. It's time for us to clear that. It's time for us to go play in the abundance. So we're inviting you. Would you love to come play in the abundance? Yes, yes, yes. Good. So in order to do this, there's some steps you'll need to take. Okay. And I can offer for you what I have done for my own self and how I help other people doing that. Okay. The first thing you can do is it's important for you to admit, okay, where you are right now. Be real with yourself. And actually, even before that, you have to be willing to have the courage and the willingness to actually make some changes in your life. You have to actually say, you know what, I'm really tired of this. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of having it be really hard. Something has to change. Okay. Speak it out. Have a good friend that you can talk to about it. If you can have a good loved one that can hold great space for you, then go speak that in. You can actually write it in a journal too, so that that's if you don't have someone to speak to, is write it in a journal and then go speak it out. You can go speak it out to Mother Earth. She'll hear you. The birds will hear you. Go do that. You can. You can really do that. I've done that for myself. Heck yes. Woo. And even vent how you're feeling. So you can admit, so how are you feeling right now? What is happening within you? Where are you hurting? Where do you feel the lack? Where do you feel the stress? The stress, is it stress of finances? Is it stress of lack of deep connecting relationships or love? Is it lack of security, lack of safety? So these are the pieces that are going to be super important for you to be able to connect into for yourself. And then when you're able to do that, you'll be amazed. Okay. And this is where writing can come in. You can write it in, or if you have someone that you can talk with and they can write it for you, that's really nice. With the Psyche private session, we'll talk near the end of having that. That's what the facilitator does. So someone like myself who's a facilitator, I will hear what you have to say in a very condensed way. We're not therapy therapists. We just are here to hold that space for you. And then it's really awesome when you can reveal what's challenging you, blocking you, limiting you, frustrating you, or any negative self-talk that you're having, right? Admit that. That's huge, okay? Especially where your perception of your lack of abundance is, because it's just a perception. You may have a perception that your world of abundance might be a little lacking, or might be a little tainted, or might be a little restricted. Okay, and that's okay. It's happening for a reason. If you can help yourself, just imagine that everything is here for you. And that if it is happening for you, that you can have a breakthrough. You can change these things. If you can actually just imagine that you can, that's showing you that you actually can. Yes, because that's the gift we have here. We have the gift of the imagination. Because we have the gift of imagination, that means we can step into any time constructs, any timelines. Okay, there's infinite timelines that have been created. So we get to, what would you like to step into? Well, that's the gift of your imagination. Your imagination leaps you into an imaginary reality. This is kind of like the ethers. It's kind of like the non-physical form of you, and that's okay. Play in that. This is where you get to play. You get to give yourself permission to play in your imagination. Once you pick out the admitting that maybe the denser vibrations that you're in, if you are in worry or fear, yeah, those are big ones. Yeah, feeling like you don't have enough or you're not enough. Like those are the things that I had to work through with myself, that I didn't think I was enough. I thought there was something wrong with me. I did have a bit of concern or worry. Oh, if I did something wrong, I would lose something, or I'd lose the nice life that I created for myself. Things like that. These are all pieces that you can help yourself with, because they will still create some limitation in the true abundant life that's waiting for you. You have an abundant life that's waiting for you. You really do. Yes, you do. So once you can admit it, that maybe there might be things going on within you that might be limiting this ability to connect with this way of living, then the next thing is to step into desiring the changes that you do want. Okay, the things that you would love to have, and this is the piece of you that has the courage and the willingness to say, you know what, I do want to change it. I do want to find a way. If there can possibly be a way, then yes, I'm going to find that way. Yes, it is. Yes, you can. You will find that way. Woo. And actually, my friend Sabine and I are going to be creating a whole another class about the sacred way. So I'll be sharing more about that as that starts continuing to unfold, because we actually have a sacred way within us. Yes, you do. Ooh, it's like discovering your map within your labyrinth path. Journey here, and that the gateways through your heart. That is a huge way. We were taught to live in our minds. We're meant to live in our hearts, and the heart then brings in the mind to be the most precious servant and equalizer with your heart piece. So that, because the heart actually has a masculine feminine side within you, which is really beautiful. It's just we got overlaid with way more masculine energy for survival, which is purposeful. and then even our mind. So now we're anchoring in, hey, how about these two become equal? And then in time, the feminine will actually begin to lead for a bit with the Aquarian age. And it's just another way of being that we love to dance in our lifetimes here. Okay. So you'll admit, if you can admit, what you're vibrating in or what you're in with the junk that you're in, admit those things. Okay. And maybe write them down or share with somebody. And then switch it into, what are your desires? Really start stepping into your heart and find, if you could have things, how would you like it to begin to speak them in? Your words are very powerful. Boy, I would love to have this. Oh, I would love to be able to experience this. I would love to have this happen for me. Okay. Begin to speak these in. Okay. And the third thing now is begin to notice the abundance that's already around you. Oh, how cool is that, right? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Whew. You can look at Mother Earth. Mother Earth has so much abundance. If you do any kind of gardening, you'll realize how abundant we actually do live in. And then there's a whole permaculture movement that's happening that's getting very exciting, where we can begin to be self-sustaining, growing in our own areas where we live in and around, where we can live in harmony with spirit and with Mother Earth and with each other in a beautiful flow. We're going to be shifting a lot here, guys, and all that are welcome and open. And it really is living in abundance, abundance in a deep connection with each other and with Mother Earth and with your spirit. Okay. So with noticing the abundance around you, what you can, and Psyche can help you with this, because if you tend to look at what's going wrong, or being more in the victim energy still, or thinking this isn't fair, in the fighter energy, okay, that's you're learning how to master your survival instincts that you learned, and then even moving through some suffering and pain, so that you can leap up and finally land into the power of who you are, the power of the abundance of who you are. And yeah, and then you can begin to start shifting into the more higher expanded energies within you, the vibrations that you actually already are, and had just possibly agreed to experience those contrasting ones or denser ones. So uh, opening up time for yourself is huge. If you can even edge out 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, see what you can do, where you can ask yourself these questions, come up with these solutions, that you have the solutions within you. Begin to start noticing all the good around you, all the abundance around you. So just notice, wow, there's an abundance there. Oh, there's an abundance there. Or, oh, maybe even in your life, where do you have a bit of abundance of stuff? Okay. I know for myself, I would buy too much food. I was a little bit hoarder of food. I think because there were times as a little girl, I'd open up my cupboards and it would be a little bit bare. And my mom, she would have like $50, and she'd bring us. She's feeding. There's 10 kids at the home because the two older ones moved out. 10 kids at home for $50 for the whole week. We need to eat. I'm like, okay, now this is interesting. So of course, as a little girl, I wanted to go get the really delicious cereal. Nope, we got the cheap one with the two red lines over it. Like, oh my gosh. And I figure, I realized, hey, my mom's just doing the best she can. She has to live in this budget, right? And the same thing with like the 2 squares of toilet paper, right? All right, we got to live in our budget. I was raised in that. And I'm ready to live more abundantly. I can share more. When you're abundant, you actually can share even more. You're like, oh, sure. In their generosity, because you have plenty to give and plenty to receive. Isn't that precious? Yeah. Whoo, yeah. So we would get to $50 and that was it. Psh, the groceries, and that's what we had for the week. And there'd be times where I learned to only drink milk like on Monday, because that's when we would get the go to the grocery store, or even maybe Friday. I think it was Friday because my mom had a car on Friday. She would take my dad into work. So yeah, maybe it was Friday, that one of the days it was like Friday, but definitely by the end of the week I did not drink milk, because she would just add powdered milk and water to it to make it last. I'm like, wow. And I was also raised with like the watered down Tang. So it's like, hey, you can have Tang stretch as far as you can go. That was like the drink, the little sweet drink that we used to have as kids. And my mom made sure those lasted forever too. So you might have had some of those experiences too. I can laugh about them now because I realize that I know my parents did the best they could, and we made it through. That's the best part, because guess what? We're here. We're here right now. Yes, we are. Whatever you've made through, you made it through. Cheer yourself for that. That's super huge. Super huge. Absolutely huge. Yeah. Yeah. So back to where I was a little bit of a hoarder with food. Yeah. And I'd have like the freezer full of food. And it just felt so good. It was like, oh, it's like it helped me feel safe. We're helping you open up your abundance gateway within you. At least the idea to really want and desire that for your life. Know that you're worthy of it, and know that you can actually access it. Whew, so we were just talking about lack and scarcity, and then the key things is ask yourself. So where do you feel abundant, or what helps you feel more secure? What helps you feel more safe? That was helpful for me. Actually, having a lot of food in my house. It's kind of interesting. And then once I was able to shift things within my own self using the gift of Psyche. And what Psyche offers for you, it helps you become whole brained, and I would even say wholehearted. Allows your heart to open and to run from your heart, or to run, to actually vibrate in your heart's desires, and in sync, so that you can be more in your whole state, connecting with your divine aspects of yourself and connecting with your human parts of yourself. So it's super huge, super huge. With that, with those shifts, is I was able to transmute any lack and scarcity, and if anything still comes up, I'm like, okay, thank you for showing up, because we're clearing things out. We might do a whole lifetime of clearing, because we did create a lot of the opposites, contrasting. But if there's any kind of fears, or any kind of yes, fears of scarcity, fears of lack, fears of yeah, maybe not or something bad happening, not coming up. With Psyche, you can transform that perception literally within seconds to minutes. You learn the template of how to do that for yourself, or working with a facilitator can help you with it too. With that, I was able to shift out of that lack scarcity mindset, and be able to shift more into my abundant mindset. And this is what you get to do. You get to shift your mindset and shift your heart. So that's going to kind of be two spots we'll look at. When you look at the mindset will be, okay, so what are your thoughts? What are your understandings? What are your interpretations? What's your meaning? And that's a big one. Ask yourself, what does it mean for you to live an abundant way? What is meaningful for you to live abundantly? What will help you the most with that? And if it is, hey, making sure you got plenty of food in the house, perfect. Then have food. As long as you're able to go get food, that's really awesome. Yes. And then in time, you will be able to shift into more of a balance where you don't have to have too much, where then you have to throw out the food because it actually has expired, because that has happened for me too. Then I realized, how about that? How about I just know that I can always have enough when I need it, and go get the stuff when I do need it, or go grow the stuff for myself. Really nice when we can start to actually grow our own food too, which is beautiful. So, one of the gifts with helping yourself living more abundantly is actually allowing yourself to return back to your balance, your centeredness, feeling safe and secure, loved, uh, peaceful, centered, grounded in knowing you are the child of Mother Earth here. Your whole body, your whole aspect of you is a part of this gorgeous Mother Earth, and she is here to help you. She's here to help provide for you. You have everything you ever wanted or need right here, living on Mother Earth. We do. We have it. Yes. So, and I'll begin with the most potent one of all of the abundance. If there were one thing that you absolutely had to have in order to live here, hmm, as a human being, what would that one thing be? Hmm. So the answer is your breath, oxygen, and all of the light codes that come in from the sun in your breath, the chi energy, the life force energy comes in your breath. And guess what? You have an abundance of that. I have an abundance of that. We have an abundance of that. Thank goodness, right? When you came into this planet as a little newborn baby, I used to be a birth nurse, so I loved helping new babies come into this world. What does a baby do when it comes out? It's actually meant just to breathe. It doesn't even have to cry. Go figure that one. Yeah, the medical profession needs to figure that one out, but the midwives get that one. Whew, the baby comes out, looks at the mom and dad start to talk to the baby. The baby hears the mom and dad. The baby first created the heart first out of all the cells, and the second one was the inner ear. So it's the connection of the heart sense, the love of who you are, and the inner ear, which is your inner knowingness, and connecting with your parents, in this beautiful world is one of the most precious things you can do for yourself. Even with Psyche, we can have you go back to that timeline to have that get beautifully connected if it got distorted or disrupted in any way. And then what the baby will do is the baby will take a nice breath. Welcome, baby. Welcome to this beautiful world. And that's what happened to you when you were born here. Yes. Yes. And since then, you've been taking breaths every few seconds. Now, how about that, huh? Abundantly. And what happens when you breathe? You breathe in and you breathe out. You breathe in and you breathe out. You have the life force energy moving through you in every breath. Yes. A little bit more of what I'll be creating, like with my friend Sabine, and I'm going to have her on this call. Is we'll be talking about the five elements. That's a whole nother beautiful piece that we'll be begin to talk about more of the Chinese medicine philosophies. It's just beautiful ancient teachings that our lungs are the ones that receive this oxygen, receive this chi, this life force energy, and all of its beautifulness, all of its beautifulness into our beautiful lungs. The lungs are part of the metal element of the five elements. What does the metal element do? What do metals do? They help form positive ions. Yes, positive ions then allow you to bond. So the breathing that you get to do with every breath that you take allows you to create positive ions that help you bond in life. How precious is that? And when you can awaken yourself and help you realize that with every breath, you get to have new beginnings. You get to have new ways of feeling, new ways of experiencing, and welcome in the new abundance, the new expansive ways that you would love to be here. Yeah. Yeah. And there's also a beautiful practice of breath work. That's also another beautiful thing that you may want to check into. I love it. I'm actually going on a breath work cacao ceremony tomorrow evening, which is also beautiful because I savor the breath. We have an abundant supply of our breath. And it can help regulate you. It can help you ground. It can help you center you. It can help quiet your mind. It's so precious. So precious. So I'd love to read something from a beautiful book that I have that helps with explaining the emotional and mental bodies and how it can affect our physical bodies. And it talks about the lungs. Okay. So with the lungs, it is by the action of your two lungs that life circulates within you. Isn't that neat? Our two lungs, our feminine, masculine sides of our lungs helps us circulate life within us. They are therefore the air filters for our whole body. You inhale life and then you return it to the universe. Yes, you bring in the life force energy that's meant to be for your body, and then you release all that you can let go, all that you're done with. Isn't that precious? Properly functioning lungs enable you to aerate each of your cells. So when you can breathe and breathe in beautifully and fully, it actually not only just breathes into the lungs, it actually then moves with your circulatory system, with your heart and your circulatory system and your lymph systems, all through all cells of your body. That aerates all of them, brings the chi force energy to all of the cells of your body, every 50 trillion cells in your body. And it is by your lungs that you become aware that you exist. So when you breathe in, I exist. Yes, you do with every breath. And you can begin again. You can have a new breath. You can have a new day. You can live in an abundant way and come play in this abundant way. Ooh, so these lungs represent your capacity to topple all the walls that you built up for yourself or that society has set in place, as well as your capacity to adjust. Wow. Wow. And that is the sweet spot of abundance is when you can recognize you actually are that powerful. You're so abundant, you actually have that power with your breath to be able, wow, to bring down the walls, to adjust yourself, to expand again. Yeah, to receive the gems, the mastery that you're doing for yourself here, if you so choose. The gift of the breath and the gift of our lungs. Ooh, so these lungs therefore recognize a distress in living, and it will let you know when there's distress or where there's a constriction or a restriction. And this can enable you, whew, ah, mm, to basically air out any negative feelings, right? And allow yourself to purify your love. Mm. And the I am presence that you are inhaling with every breath. You are actually inhaling your I am presence every time. And let yourself be thankful for the lungs. This is a time in a season where people might end up getting lung issues or lung projects, okay? Where they may start to cough or may start to get congested in the airways and all of those pieces. Let yourself know you can shift these. You can receive what's happening with your upgrade with those and begin again anew. And a lot of these is letting go of the grief. The lungs hold the sorrow and the grief within us. They do. And we don't have to hold these anymore. We can let them go. We can thank them for the experiences that they had and let them go. Because a lot of that grieving, when you can let go of that grieving, you actually lift up back into your joy, back into your love, back into the harmony and peace and the vibrations of your expandedness again. Because that is your true essence of who you are. And we just had agreed to be born in a time that was really, really constricted and really dark. And in that survival and lack experiences and a bit of the suffering and pains. And guess what? You get to breathe again. Yes, you do. Inhale the I am presence that you are, and exhale anything that's blocking you from that I am presence. How about that? Just beginning that alone will begin to expand yourself in the abundant life that you are meant to live in that simple and profound way. Yes, you can. Absolutely. So let's take a nice cleansing breath, a nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top of your breath for about 3 or 4 seconds or more. And when you're ready to release, allow like you're blowing out candles, birthday candles. Nice. Oh, and guess what? Guess what? Abundance is the language of your creativity. Yes, it is. Ooh, how about that one? Play with that one a little bit, right? Yes. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Allowing yourself to become and live in an abundant way allows you to be able to open up your creativity window. And your creativity window, all that means is that you have an infinite amount of ideas, of new ways you would love to experience or be or sense or feel here. Yes, you do. That's all that is creativity. Yes, it could be in crafty things. It could be in the way you speak. It could be in the way you build things or the way you move things or the way you offer and share your gifts. Yes. When you can start playing with these two, let yourself begin to play with your creativity. Let yourself open up with great ideas. Maybe you'll even get together with friends and curiosity pieces. Allow the curiosity to come in, though. That's the key. The curiosity is your gateway into your abundance and your creativity. Let yourself become like a child again. Let yourself become playful again. Let yourself just ask, what if positive? Let yourself imagine again. These are all the invitations that we are inviting you here so that you can live in a magnificent, abundant life. With the gift of Psyche, whether it's in with private sessions where you work one on one, where I do offer either one session, a series of 3, or series of 6. Most people do the series of 3, some do a series of 6. And then we get to help you really tackle any lack, scarcity that blocks from your abundance so you can literally reprogram your subconscious mind so that you can begin to see and feel and experience things in new ways. And that's the gift of what it offers for you. Open up that curiosity window, your imagination, your creativity, so you can begin to feel and experience and connect in abundant, powerful ways. This is the invitation for you here. If you listen to this talk today, then that means you are interested and open to it, which is super huge. So recommend that you come to my website, igniteandhealyourlife.com. Igniteandhealyourlife.com. That's igniteandhealyourlife.com. You are igniting your divinity, your I am presence within you because we all are this. We just might have forgotten or didn't know much about it, right? You actually are it. So, Psyche, the gift of Psyche, and I mean, I have other spiritual gifts too that I offer that helps you activate this I am presence within you. And then that will then go heal any of those parts, any of the broken pieces or the fragmented pieces that you might have done within yourself. That I'm not good enough, or there's something wrong with me, or I can't do this, or I don't have enough, or how can this happen for me? All of those were just made up in your mind in your first 7 years of life where you received those beliefs from the lifestyle that you were in at that time. And the gift is you can change these. Yes, you can. You can. And it's in your readiness. Everything is about your readiness. If you are so ready, then we recommend you just check out my website and learn a little more. And if you are really curious, you may want to look at my workshops that I have because I'm one of the certified Psyche instructors across the world. There's about 30 of us across the world that teach this in a 3-day workshop. I'm teaching an online one in January 12th to the 14th. So you can gift yourself, start working with yourself with the first online workshop for yourself. This can be a gift for you if you celebrate Christmas. Have this be a Christmas gift for you. Heck yes, it might be one of the most precious gifts you give yourself. Yes, you can blast and begin to start living in abundance. Yes, you can. And you can also come to in-person workshops. So you can come. Uh, I have an in-person workshop at the end of January 26th weekend in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So if you want to go somewhere warm and gorgeous and beautiful, come down to Florida. In February, if you're a little bit more of a risk taker or just one that likes the north, I'm teaching in February in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So you can check my website for the dates on those. Is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And it's still actually sometimes in Florida and Michigan we have summer days. So I'm going to set that intention that we actually have a beautiful weekend, at least some sunshine and clear roads. There you go. In March, I'll be teaching in Kentucky the first weekend, and then the third weekend I'll be in Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee. See if any of those dates work for you. This is just a call out. It's a gentle call and it's a powerful one. So if you say yes to it, you will be forever grateful. I know I did. When the reason I learned this at the time when I was married, my husband had leukemia and I wanted him to live. I wanted him to break through it instead of dying like his dad and his sister did from those complications of cancer. He did. Instead of dying at 50 like they both did, no, he just turned 60. Yes, he did. And it was the gifts that he was willing to receive and help him shift from parts of him that wanted to leave this planet to actually want to stay and want to live and live fully. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for my life experiences. And I'm grateful that when these catastrophes happen in our lives or the surprises that happen in our lives, that we can turn them for good, because you can turn these for good. It doesn't have to stay horrible. No, not anymore. We're in the Aquarian age. We're meant to turn anything that is struggling you, frustrating you, challenging you, to grab those gems, learn from your experiences, and then go catapult you up into the abundance of wisdom that you have, the abundance heart you have, the abundance that you get to receive and experience in beautiful, gorgeous ways here, however that desire is for you, because you are worthy of it. You are meant to experience life in the most magical, precious way. Yes, you are. You matter. You are significant here. You're vital here. You're actually meant to share your gifts here too. So that's another piece of Psyche will help you with too. It has certainly done that for me, as I'm so grateful that I can even have this conversation with you today. Whoever heard this today, you're exactly meant to hear this. Yes, and it does take us to go put it into action, to go become it, to go vibrate in it, to go experience in that new way. All of those pieces are vital. It is, and it just takes one breath, one new choice, and then one new way of becoming and being. And so we recommend for you to start looking at it, investigate it, and see if you're moved by it, and then come. I would love to meet you. I would love to work with you, and I would love to inspire you and activate and help assist you in your ignition of the love and the heart that you are, because you are this. Oh, have a magnificent week, especially in this gorgeous, joyful time. I am Mary Mazur. This is Change Your Funk to Fun. Have a magnificent time during these holidays. Aho.